Now, today I'm in my local woods. Actually, it's not my local woods, but still only 10 minutes away. Came here last week just to suss out a particular plant that I want to photograph. And I reckon it needed a week or two. And conditions that I've been hoping for have been the following. We needed rain the previous few days. Tick. We've then needed the temperature to plunge on Saturday morning, i.e. today. Tick. And when those two things happen, you get frost or mist. But you only get mist if there's no wind, which is the next thing we needed. Tick. And so, I have come down to some woods with all my gear. Very excited. Before dawn, the sunrise is going to be another 20 minutes, and I'm going to photograph the very famous English bluebell. And these particular woods are locally well known for it. Now, I've just seen some. Let me show you. So I think they're out. Now what I need to do, I've already marked my location as to where I want to go on what 3 words. I'm going to use that to navigate. I know roughly where it is anyway. If I get lost, I can find the exact spot, because I took an actual photograph last week with my iPhone, which is probably where I'm going to take the picture. So actually getting here and taking the picture is going to be fairly straightforward, but conditions, it's all about the conditions. And I can't believe my luck, because I couldn't come out yesterday, Thursday. Could have come out tomorrow, but I don't really want to. So like a game of golf booked, and next week I can't come out at sunrise because my wife is flying off to Morocco. So woods are about 7 or 8 minutes this way. I've just had a photographer run past me, which was odd. He said, "Why are you running?" Oh, I just don't want to miss it. So he's excited as well. Didn't have a tripod, but obviously going to hand hold it. But I've got my telephoto lens, which is what you need for this, just to try and foreshorten the bluebell. So I'll talk to you more when I get there. Let's press on. So the bluebells are out. We've got mist. It's very still. And what we've got in this wood are a load of old oaks. There's some beech and a bit of birch every so often. But carpets and carpets of lovely bluebells, and the mist is going to set it off beautifully. So I'm going to use the 24-200 zoom today. If you can use telephoto on this kind of thing, it foreshortens, it squeezes the perspective and makes it appear like there are more bluebells than there actually are. But there are loads already, as you can see. So I'm going to try and get something. Looking at the bottom and the base of these trees, we've got a fallen down tree here. Actually the pathway and the pathway behind you looks really, really lovely. And some really nice red trees, which are, I don't know what they are actually, but they're looking great. Sun is now risen, but we can't see a lot at the moment of it. But what will happen inevitably with mist is that once the sun rises, it will start to burn it off. So the conditions will go very quickly. So I need to work quick and see if I can't put a composition together using the 24-200. Absolutely wonderful conditions. And this wood, I've been here loads of times, that these are the perfect conditions. I'm so pleased that I came out. Everything's fallen in my favour. So let me do some shots and then I'll talk you through it. So this is a composition I quite like. I'm finding that, let me just focus this up. Finding that telephoto works really well, and these woods are really nice because there are sections that are fairly open, so you can get back and you can zoom in and really squash things. Now these oak trees aren't particularly interesting, or the branches here, these guys here are really, really nice. And there's one right in the distance in the mist that's just kind of come into view. The one on the right is a birch, and it's in, its leaves are coming out, so it's just beginning to appear. And there is quite a nice carpet of bluebells. So I'm going to shoot this one, and let me show you the composition in the camera. So what we've got is this trunk in the foreground is quite important because it's sharp. It gives the picture looks like it's in focus. And then we've got one, this one here, which is out of focus. And I really like this branch that's curving, or this jaggedy across the top of the frame. And then in the distance, just want to get that silver birch in, or certainly some of the leaves, to show us that it's spring, and the rest of it's all about the bluebells. I quite like some light coming through here, and it might well be that it comes out. But I kind of don't want to risk that, because if I just stand here and the light doesn't come out, I've missed this opportunity to take loads of nice photos. I'll show you the one I've just done at the path behind you, which I quite like. And there are other bits of branch, bits of trees that look really good, because these oak trees, although the actual trunks are fairly straight and fairly kind of straightforward, some of the branches have been bent and are gnarly and give that kind of I don't know, that kind of interest in the picture. So let's just turn that off. So let's have a little look at this one on the screen, and see what you think. Right, I'm going to move that way, I think, next. So these are English bluebells, and you can tell they're English bluebells because they are hanging downwards. We've had a problem in the UK with Spanish bluebells. Not that I've got anything against them, but they spread really, really quickly, and they've been snuffing out the English ones. The Spanish ones stand more upright and are bigger, but these guys are definitely English. It's been protected by the Woodland Trust as well, so lucky to have this on my doorstep. Really been looking forward to bluebell season. Last year I took a few photographs, didn't manage to get out at sunrise, didn't have fog, didn't have mist, so I was a little bit, kind of felt a little bit, oh, I've missed it. And this year I've been gearing up for the last month or so for this, and I've been scouting a few locations. I've got another one in Norfolk if I can get to it, and I've got a few, I'm trying to get there next week. I might be able to. There's another really good location up there, but again, the time I can get up there and whether the weather conditions are correct, it's just a lottery really. But you do get misty days in April and May. It's kind of what we have here. And being here, just these birds, it's just wonderful. There's been talk on the local Facebook group about lots of adders about this time of year, and people have seen grass snakes in a little pond that's on the entrance as we come in, and that's a really good thing, a really good sign. Hopefully nature is recovering on its way back. Certainly in this wood it's doing well. I had a grass snake in my pond a couple of years ago. Actually it was last year. Well, actually I've had it for 2 years, so it got caught, and then one got caught in the netting and had to cut it out and let it go. And the other one, we restocked our pond, and there was one in my, and it somehow taken a blackbird, or a blackbird got caught in the netting or something, but there was a headless blackbird with a snake with its head inside it. It swung away when it saw me, but obviously they eat fish, and I didn't really want them to eat my goldfish that I'd be looking after, so I put a glove on, waited by the side of the pond for it to come up for air, grabbed it behind its head and took it to a pond which was about 100 metre run on a local farm. I've put it in there, so hopefully it won't come back. It's nice to have them, but I don't really want them in my pond. Right, conditions are very still. See if I can find another composition. This one kind of is working for me, and I'm very loath to step into bluebells, but I think if I'm careful, I can just move this way, might just improve the composition. So let's have a look at that now. Really like these pathways as well. Just dipping down with the mist below them. The mist is starting to move a little bit, just thinning out. And there's a little bit more light in the trees, which is actually quite nice. I don't think we've got long though, so seen a little picture in here. I might some little detail shots I really quite like. So I'm going to have a little go here with a telephoto, compress the perspective again, and I'll put this picture on the screen for you to have a look at. See what you think of this. It's not easy. Trying so hard not to stand on the bluebell plants themselves, but sure they'll be all right. I've spotted a silver birch, and I love a silver birch, and a lying down tree at the back, and just a carpet of these beautiful bluebells with the mist behind. I might crop this actually, because this is kind of suit a 64-24, which I, as you know, if you watch the channel at all, you know that I use that a lot with my GFX. So focus up on the silver birch. I've got the camera underneath these two branches here, over the top of this, looking straight down, and the picture actually is looking better when I zoom in. Sometimes actually what I've been finding is that zooming out makes the composition clearer often, which you would expect to be the opposite, because as you zoom out you get more things in, but it's simplified it sometimes somehow. There's also these, I don't know about you, but a lot of guys, and we do it at our school actually, a lot of people make these kind of wooden shelters, which I really like. It's lovely to see the children using the woods. Wow. And these little shelters make interesting subjects if you can get them looking right. I'm going to be using f11 on this, I think. The 1 second exposure. Again, if I could just move this tree in front out of the way, it might be, oh lovely, look at that, a long-tailed tit I think in the, yeah, beautiful. If I can move this tree out of the way, it would be an even nicer composition, but I don't mind it actually. I think it looks all right. You can be the judge when I put it up on the screen. So let's have a look at this. We're going to shoot this high key again. Cool. Good. Come across this composition, and what attracted me to this was the broken limb of this tree. In fact, there's two. This one's covered in moss. There's a little bit of moss in the distance. We've got kind of almost a deer path going through it, which I quite like. But looking through the camera, let me show you what the problem could be and whether I may have solved it. So if we look here, I've zoomed in quite a lot now. This is kind of set up, so I ought to really go back and do this in a second. But the composition goes, if I show you my finger, where are we? The composition goes, this bit is pointing outwards, that bit is pointing outwards. There's a branch in the background which is pointing out. So everything is going from here in this direction, which means that it doesn't work. But I think we've saved it because of this branch here. Look, that I think stops everything, stops the eye wandering out of the picture. The question is whether the foreground interest, or whether the middle section of the picture holds enough interest to make it a worthwhile shot. I can't really move to the right because there's another tree here, as you can see, so that kind of doesn't work. Could get underneath it, I guess, but I don't really want to shoot this wide angle, so I think there's a picture here. It's just not easy, and it might turn out that it just doesn't work and I don't like it. But you've got to be in it to win it, as we always say. So we're going to have a shoot, and I'll put it on the screen. Whether you like it or whether you're not, it'll be up to you. See what you think of this then. So it's funny, woodlands, the conditions, I mean, I thought conditions were perfect today. It's been okay, it's been misty. The mist is almost completely gone now, but we had no light. It seems like it's got moaning, you know. I'm sure these will look great. What I'm going to probably do is warm up the colour temperature of them a little bit, so they're not because at the moment, because there's no light, they're looking kind of grey blue. And I can just adjust the colour temperature a little bit just to give them a little bit of pop. I'm actually hopeful these are going to look okay. So I'm going to say goodbye there, so thanks ever so much for tuning in as ever. Next time I might go out, you might see me again in some bluebell woods, because what I might do, I've got Monday and Tuesday free. Can't get out at sunrise, but I can certainly get out up past 9-10 o'clock time, so we'll have a little look and see how it looks. But these are wonderful woods. I think next week there'll be even more bluebells out, so it might look even more spectacular, but certainly not a wasted day. Certainly enjoyed it. I mean, it's just been wonderful, and this lovely wood. It's really nice to go back in the woods again. It's turning into one of my favourite genres, as I've said to you before, and I haven't really done an awful lot through the winter. So it's been nice seeing the blackthorn out, the bluebells, hearing the birds. Just gone past an enormous badger set. As I said earlier, adders in this wood, grass snakes, and spring is a wonderful time because things are just coming back to life. I almost feel like you're coming out of hibernation. So, woodland's going to look wonderful, and it does. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Take care. Goodbye.